So, would anyone like to take a wild guess at what park we're visiting today? Hey everyone! We're visiting the state of Indiana for the very first time to make our first ever trip to Holiday World, home of one of the greatest wooden coasters on the planet, according to many, especially according to that sign right below the sign right there, the Golden Ticket Award. So we're excited to take a tour around the park. Plus there's a special event going on right now, Holiwood Nights, which Jen's showing you the lanyard for. So we're going to take a look at what's going down with that event as well. Also, someone is about to get their 250th coaster credit. I'll let you have one guess what that might be. So let's go take a look at the park. Here's a quick look at the Holiday World map. It's actually, I find it a little bit hard to follow. They do have a color coding on the ground over here for each of the different areas of the park, and they have matching color codes up here, but they don't clearly label where each section is on the map itself. But you can see they have a Christmas, a Halloween, 4th of July. It's all in the same font, so it doesn't really stand out even if it is a little bit bigger. Holidog's Funtown, Thanksgiving. There's the Splashin Safari area, which is a really huge area of the park. The first thing to note about Holiday World is they have two separate parking lots, and parking is free at both lots, believe it or not. They have one that is right near the entrance to the park, across a little bit of a street here. And that one is also, I should mention, right near the Raven Coaster, which you can see from outside the park. But there's also the Legend lot, which is on this side of the street where we're standing now, over here. That one, I actually kind of like that one, even though it's not as close to the park, because in order to cross the street, you actually go under the street through this colorful tunnel. It's kind of a fun way to first visit the park. It'll look even nicer when they actually have the lights on. So here we are inside Holiday World. The main street, so to speak, is Christmas themed. They have various Christmas hits playing all throughout the area at all times. So if you're a fan of Christmas music, you'll love it here. If you don't like Christmas music, you may want to get out of here as quickly as possible. But also noteworthy, they actually still have paper maps. One of the few parks that still has paper maps available for you, so you can carry it around. You don't have to use your phone if you don't want to. In terms of rides, there's not a whole lot to find in the Christmas area. They have a snack place over here, and across from that, the front of the park souvenir shop, and your wheelchair and ECV rental station like most parks have at the front. They also have a big sign advertising they're celebrating 25 years of free unlimited soft drinks. So not only is the parking free here, soft drinks are also entirely free. You read that right. That's such a neat feature of this park. The third major freebie that the park gives you that you don't find many other places is free sunscreen. You find these at various places around the park that come in these little jugs here. You just squirt it out of the bottle and apply it. I love the decorations in the front of the park gift shop. They have all the mascots of the park. George the eagle, Sam the crocodile or alligator, I'm not sure, I think crocodile. They have Holidog, and they also have Kitty Claus, all four of their mascots. They also have a big sign for all of them up there. There are actually 3 rooms in the gift shop. The middle room has some fun decorations as well, with cups arranged in an HW. Also look at the Howler swings that we'll see later in the video. And the final room has some of my favorite decorations on the walls here. We've got pictures of the Voyage, some fireworks, got Thunderbird, some posters that they actually sell in here that you can buy. the mascots again. I have the Mayflower over there. I really like what they did with this gift shop. That gift shop also has a bunch of merchandise that says Santa Claus Land on it, which is what the park was called before it became Holiday World. How much money is left on the cars? They even put a big plaque outside in honor of Santa Claus Land's 75th anniversary on August 3rd, 2021. They have a little theater over here where you can frequently meet Holidog and Kitty Claus and the other mascots from time to time. They have a really cool fountain here with a bunch of Christmas ornaments in the center and a plaque in front of it. I've heard this last name pronounced a number of ways. I've heard it Koch, Cook, Coke. I'm not sure how this particular family pronounces it, but and of course, you can't have a theme park in a town called Santa Claus, Indiana, without having a giant Santa Claus statue, a foot taller than Jen. And past the fountain is Santa's Merry Marketplace, which is a restaurant. They offer a variety of food items. It's almost like a food court of sorts. Connected to that is also the Sugar Plum Scoop Shop, which serves ice cream and coffee. They have this Holiday World Holidog as a nutcracker out here too, which is really cool. Good spot for a photo. The ice cream shop is over here, and then you just simply swing around and that's where the restaurant itself is. So they have both contained within the same building. Once you get your food, oh, and also by the way, they have the confectionery also in here on this side. Once you get whatever, your candy or your actual food or whatever, it opens up into this nice big dining area. They have this nice little fireplace with stockings hanging over here. Against this back wall, they have a giant mural of Santa and Mrs. Claus and the elves hard at work. Farther back, they have a few other murals of Santa working, reading his letters, and also relaxing over there. And then another large one against that wall of him with his reindeer about to go down a chimney. They also have Little Guy's Big Fun Cottage Arcade and Skee Ball, which has, you know, your typical arcade games that you'd find in a theme park arcade, and of course Skee Ball. The side of the arcade actually has a giant Happy Holidays sign painted on it. It's a really nice touch to the area. And the opposite side of the arcade says "Greetings from Santa Claus Land, Santa Claus, Indiana." It's almost like a postcard. Then they have the Christmas Theater, which I assume is used for shows periodically, but on the website there's nothing listed as being in this theater right now. Next to that, they actually have a manger scene here. A very large manger scene. All the figures are probably close to 6 foot tall apiece. And then you can go down here into Rudolph's Reindeer Ranch, which is a section of kiddie rides. These are pretty much the only rides in the Christmas section, are all a bunch of kiddie rides. There's like 5 of them in here. But then the more important part is that you can get a good view of the Raven roller coaster that you can't get unless you walk down here. We'll take another look at the Raven a little bit later. It's actually in the Halloween section of the park, but this is a really great view of a couple of the signs. Also the coaster that we saw from the parking lot. We were thinking this house was modeled after the Bates Motel. What do you think? It kind of looks like that house from Psycho. Each of the sections of the park have banners hanging up to remind you which section you're in at any given time. So here's what the one for Christmas looks like. Walking around the side of the restaurant, they have some nice decorations hanging up above. Looks like theme park decorations we'd see around our usual parks that we usually visit during Christmas time, except it's here all year round. They show you right here what's actually in Santa's Merry Marketplace. That's really nice. If that giant dining room inside of there gets full, they actually have some outdoor dining, or if you just want to sit outside in the nice weather to eat, you have the option to sit at these tables over here. There's an alternative entrance into the back side of Santa's Merry Marketplace over here. They also have a very Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote type fake door here on the side of the wall. Despite Christmas being the area you enter the park into, you don't get to see a Christmas-themed archway until you exit one of the other areas. Here's the back side of the Halloween archway, which we'll look at in a little bit. Themed to Christmas here. As you leave the Christmas area, if you hang a left, the first new area you come to is Halloween. And Halloween being my favorite holiday, I love this overhang they have here, this archway. It's so un-Halloween-y, but yet it works so well. It's got Halloween-y colors, but those smiling ghosts are something else. There are quite a few fun and punny names in the park, but Jen's personal favorite in the park, because this is in the Halloween area, their swing ride is known as Howler Swings. And I love how they've themed this ride. They have a jack-o'-lantern witch, Frankenstein, a little cat ghost, a little scarecrow over there, probably more. Right now it's down because we just had some rain, but when it comes back up, I bet there's a lot of fun stuff around there. I love the little skulls there too. Here's a look at the banners for Halloween. Has a kitty cat and a ghost and a spider and a bat. I almost thought for a second that that ghost was a Voldemort head because of the broom down there. Right past the Howler Swings is one of the two coasters that are in the Halloween area of the park. The Legend is this wooden coaster here, themed to the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Maybe I'm biased because of how much I like the holiday, but I really like the theming in this area, with the game rooms being still themed really well. The Spiderweb, Headless Horseman, Fried Frogs. This whole game area is known as Merlin's Castle. They have Boo's Balloon Pop and Pumpkin Planko. And obviously I won't go inside the restrooms, but even the men and women's signs in the restrooms are Halloween themed as a witch and a vampire. And then continuing along through Halloween, you come to the Raven, themed to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. To enter the queue, you pass through cemetery gates. It also mentions that this was named the #1 wooden roller coaster on the planet from 2000 to 2003, which is quite the honor. Also mentions that it's celebrating 30 years up here at the top as well, which the color scheme of that doesn't really fit the cemetery gates very well, but that's still a great milestone. Also worth noting, the Raven is deemed an ACE roller coaster landmark, which was dedicated in June of 2016. Just past the Raven, they have this fun little spooky photo op. Just try not to get busted by the Ghostbusters. As part of the Holiwood Nights festivities, we were given the unique and rare opportunity to get a behind-the-scenes look at both the Legend and the Raven. So here's a quick look at some of the footage that we were able to capture on that walk back. There's a rare angle of the tunnel at the beginning of the coaster. Also get a look at the dangerous chemical storage shed they have down here, which I'm obviously not going to get too close to, but it's kind of cool that they allow us to get to this point. From the shed, we actually pass right underneath of the track. is just an awesome and impressive mass of wood that we're surrounded by here. Two wooden tunnels stacked on top of one another. They really love their tunnels on their wooden coasters. Up close view of the lake, the coaster goes right by. You can see the turn the coaster makes right here, right up on the lake. What a view that is. Got more of the coaster on this side too, looking down on it from on the hill. There's a little campground on the other side of the lake. Can you imagine camping there and having this view? View of a coaster on one side, view of a nice fountain on the other. Not sure how much the campground is to stay, but that's really nice. I like this little gap in the tunnel right here. You can kind of for a split second to see the train going by, if you're lucky. You can actually see the numbers spray painted on most of the supports under the tunnel too. There's a little pool of water here as well as some acrobatic equipment right next to the queue for the Raven, which is right over there. The show performed by that pool of water is the Nerveless Nocks, world famous stunt team. A few show times a day. This is actually brand new for 2025 at the park. if you instead opt to make a right from Christmas instead of a left, you'll come to 4th of July. Walk onto this big red, white, and blue archway. 4th of July area celebrates a bunch of American history mainly here. Though, strangely, it sounds more like Mardi Gras music as you're walking through more than patriotic music. So, not sure about that musical choice, but that's still a fun, decorated area. Here is the banner they have hanging up for 4th of July. First ride you come to is a little carousel. What's unique about this carousel is it's mostly horses. I'd say 80% horses, but every now and then there'll be a scattered random animal on here. You can see there's a tiger right there. Beyond that, there's a dolphin. I think I saw a zebra on there, a seahorse. They have a few other animals on there as well, so it's really unique and interesting. They also have this teeny tiny rail car here. Santa Claus Land Railroad, from back when it was known as Santa Claus Land when it first opened. They also have a couple of plaques here talking about the history. And one more talking about the Freedom Train. They also have the Lewis and Clark Trail, which the name made me believe that this was a little walking path you could go down, but it actually turns out that it's a classic car pathway. Here you can see cars driving along right now. Nice and wooded. Looks like a really comfortable, shady little trail here. As you come around past the Lewis and Clark Trail, you finally come to the carousel sign. They call it the Star Spangled Carousel. Very classic looking sign. They have a round of games across from the carousel that they call the Boston Tea Party. The games themselves aren't really 4th of July themed, with the exception of it's actually Benjamin's Bag Toss. That was harder to say than it should have been. That's the only one that's really themed to 4th of July out of these games. And there's also a little tiny shack over here where you can get Holiday World's famous blue ice cream. I haven't had the blue ice cream here or at Kings Island, but supposedly the two taste completely different, so it's a matter of preference which one you prefer. They have this fun little ad on the back side of the blue ice cream shop there. Life is sweet in Indiana. Continuing past the blue ice cream shop, you come to Rough Riders, which is the bumper cars here. The sign for the Rough Riders is really funny for the 4th of July area. It fits really well. You also come to Liberty Launch right past the bumper cars, which is a very small drop tower. And it's one of the ones that kind of rockets you upward instead of lifting you up slowly and then dropping you. It kind of bounces you a little bit, so it's not quite as thrilling as a traditional drop tower. And then right across from that is the Firecracker. Firecracker is sort of like a scrambler, except you see the cars are a little bit different. You're a little bit lower down on a big sort of plate that spins. So it's a little bit different take on a scrambler, and it's an older take on a scrambler as well. Here's the ride in action. Instead of going straight past the blue ice cream that way, if you instead make a left and come down this way, you come to a nice row of American flags. In front of these American flags, which they're here for a reason, there is a nice little plaque over here dedicated to America's everyday heroes. It was dedicated on Memorial Day 2002. Right across from that plaque is a shout out to the Alamo. They have a Mexican restaurant here. Have nachos, quesadillas, burritos, tacos. Typical Mexican theme park fare. They have a little kids ride called Tippecanoes, which is kind of like a log flume in a way, except It's just on a flat surface. The water pushes these little canoes along a trail. That's kind of fun for a kid there to go along, just glide along slowly along the water. Looks like a fun time. Like most theme parks, they have a funnel cake place here. They call it Freedom Funnel Cakes. The impressive feature of this particular one is they have a funnel cake flight. You can get a cookies and cream, a classic, and a strawberry cheesecake funnel cake in a flight form. That's a really cool idea, and I wish more places did something like that. Here are the prices of their funnel cakes. The funnel cake flight itself is $15.99. And here's the actual funnel cake flight compared to the advertisement for it. It looks surprisingly close to what the picture shows. We both thought that the strawberry cheesecake was the clear winner of the three. 4th of July has a lot of forks in it. Here's another one. There's actually 3 directions. We can go left, we can go straight down this windy path, or we can go to the right. If you opt to go left from the zigzagging path, that's not much left in the 4th of July area. You're basically looking at this little pavilion right here, which this pavilion has a couple of different shows in it. It's specifically the Hoosier Celebration Theater, according to this sign up here. You can see they have a comedy hypnotist in there right now. The comedy hypnotism show is going to be here for a very limited time. By the time this video is released, it might already be done at the park for this season, or at least for this time in the season. But the Wild and Wacky Magic Show is the one that's sticking around for a little while. You can see that one has 3 show times today as well.
1, 2, 3. Oh, you didn't hesitate. Is that your number? You go, girl. Number 3, Dakota. She didn't hesitate. Her lucky number. Ho, 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 ho. Good job. People on Ferdinand are going to be talking about this one. Matter of fact, when this show's over with, everybody's going to hover around you back there wanting to see their prize. This is a collector's item, not to be duplicated. Ooh, not worth $500. Nettie, you're taken back to Ferdinand. Something valued at $13 because you got yourself the Wild Wacky poster! That's what we're talking about. Yeah, good. All right, Nettie, there you go. Woo. Magic! Nettie, want to see what you didn't win? Show her. Give it up for Nettie!
In addition to the blue ice cream, another popular treat at the park is the Dole Whip. You can get it here at Sweet Stuff, which is directly across from the Hoosier Celebration Theater in this little building. And then continuing right past the Hoosier Celebration Theater brings you back around to Halloween. So that's the end of the 4th of July section from this direction. And then going right past the funnel cakes and the funnel cake flight, you come to a few other rides. First you come to the Revolution, which is a great 4th of July name for one of these roundup rides, where you stand against the wall and it spins, and centrifugal force keeps you attached to the wall even though it lifts up off the ground. Across from that is Eagle's Flight, which is the oldest operating ride at the park currently. One of these rides where you use the fin to control which direction your ship swings. But that's basically it before you come to another area of the park. And of course, every good theme park has a kiddie area. The kiddie area here is Holidog's Fun Town. The very first thing you come to at Holidog's Fun Town is actually right next to the entrance archway. It is the Holidog Express, which is a little fun little train ride. And you can see Mother Goose up there. It's all themed to fairy tales.
On your right was Peter Pumpkin and how to walk to the teachers and clear and pumpkin show and there can do very well. On your right we have Little Miss Muffet, the ugly spider flying her way. Mary, quite contrary, how's your golden glow? Silver bells, chocolate shells, and pretty maids on a row. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. On the right we have Little Red Riding Hood and Big Bad Wolf on the way to Grandmother's house. Little Jack Warner sat in a corner and his Christmas pie. Put on stuck in his thumb, put out a paw and said, "Oh, what a good boy am I." Tom, the puppet's son, stole a pig and away he run. Little Pete lost all his sheep and couldn't tell where to find them. Just leave him alone, they'll come home, find him and tuck behind him. He thought the front, here we see Jack climbing the beanstalk to find the harp and the goose that lays the golden eggs. There was an old woman who lived in the shoe. She was really true, she didn't know what to do, so she set them on board with honey bread, sprinkled them on soundly, and sent them to bed. Joe went up the hill, fetched a pail of water, and Jack went out, broke his shirt, and Joe came tumbling after. The little boy blew from blowing a horn, the sheep to the meadow, the cows in the corn. He was a little boy who looked after the sheep. Another little sack fast asleep. And our journey comes to an end. We do ask that everyone please remain seated until the train goes to complete stop inside the train station. We hope you have enjoyed our journey to Mother Goose Land.
They have some great sculptures along the track, including Little Miss Muffet. The kids area also has a couple of nice photo spots in it. This is one, a giant Holidog statue to stand in front of. It also has another fun little photo spot for you to stick your head through. You can choose one of 2 dogs to spend time with Holidog. The kids area has a couple of little rides, a little truck ride around a little course, a teacups ride. It's got a little play area over here, but the biggest thing to note is the Howler back here, which is the kiddie coaster. It reminded us a little bit of Cosmos Curves. It's a very simple track with a couple of laps around. Try to get a better look at it in a second. Just this tiny little blue track over here. Some nice landscaping as you go around though. And of course, as expected, the Holidog is everywhere in this park, so naturally the train also looks like Holidog. as you can see here when the coaster comes around. There's our friend Holidog. There's also a stage in the area called Holidog's All-Star Theater where they have the show Holidog and Friends a few times a day. Finally, let's go down this windy path which will take us out of 4th of July and to some of the more major attractions in the park. And that brings us to the Thanksgiving area of the park, which includes 3 coasters, plus one of which is the most talked about coaster in the park. In the shadow of the Voyage's lift hill is this red coaster with a nice big spike over here. A family style boomerang coaster known as Good Gravy. I really like this sign. I like the fact that you go through a can of cranberry sauce as you're riding it. And all the other decor they have over here. They have a chicken shaped egg timer, a whisk, a little Dippin' Dot shape like in, what's that called, an Airstream trailer I believe, a bottle of milk. So the outside's really cool, but it has nothing on the inside queue. That queue is incredible and I can't wait to show it to you. The queue building itself looks just like an old home, like you're going to visit Granny for Thanksgiving. And your ride vehicle is shaped like a gravy boat to add to the ambiance. Here's Jen about to model the tester seat for everybody. There she goes, all strapped in. As soon as you walk inside, you're greeted with a wall full of pictures.
Thankful for all our special guests joining us here in Stuffing Springs. I made extra gravy.
And of course, that picture in particular speaks to you. They have the living room in here with a working TV from the 1950s. This house is kind of timeless because they have this 50s looking room here.
That was the door. It was Louise.
Going deeper into the queue, you can actually see into the bathroom. Right on the other side of that wall is a 1960s style bedroom here with that wallpaper and these posters. Beatles, the Beach Boys over here. Little kids room, a pair of roller skates. They have a little study of sorts. And of course, everywhere you look, there's a bunch of gravy boats everywhere. Old chair. Pictures all over the walls. They also have fake windows. So basically you're just here inside of a house here, and they do a really good job making you believe that you're actually legitimately inside of a house. They even have a trophy cabinet, all recipe related. If you film from a distance right up above the bathroom and the bedroom there, you can actually see into the attic of the house. They have all kinds of your typical attic storage things. They have an old Christmas tree, a bunch of old junk lamps, old bed frame. Over in the corner they even have a bust of Abraham Lincoln, which Abraham Lincoln was actually born not too far from the location of Holiday World, so that's a shout out to some history buffs there. Continuing through the queue, they have this very 1960s kitchen. The cabinet door closest to the fridge will open and close itself periodically. And you can also see on the left there, inside the oven, you can actually see a pie baking. So that's pretty cool. There we go. I was waiting for the cabinet door to open. There it goes right there. Also on the wall over here, you can see a painting. It shows the family name is the Van Snoodles. So you're in the Van Snoodles house here. Next to the kitchen, they have, of course, the dining room. Makes a lot of sense. Have 2 candelabras on the table, all the plates ready for Thanksgiving dinner. Interesting to note that the kitchen has a semi-modern corded phone, while the kitchen has a very 1940s-ish style phone on the wall. The dining room also has one of those really cool 1940s radios on there when people had to listen to radio programs instead of watching TV. Almost forgot to mention the variety of chandeliers that they have on the ceiling here. Every single one is a different style, including this fuzzy one up here. After you pass the dining room, you come to another display case of awards. They also have this little newspaper clipping here talking about a child champ or the gravy cook-off. But then beyond that, there's some ribbons of various colors. And then at the end is yet another moving painting. So they bookend the queue with moving, talking paintings. And then right through that door to the right is the actual station for the ride. A couple of good plays on words in this news article. They have this line here, this quote, where she said, "Today has been a roller coaster." Also a couple of goofy names down here. They have Rita Roo and Patty Poutine, both gravy-related names. They also, down on the very last line of the article, says, "Next year's county fair boomerang's back again." So, shouting out to the fact that this is a boomerang coaster. Some nice touches in this article. And then here's the actual station themed to the garage of the house. Got license plates and signage everywhere. I love the detail that they put into the can of cranberry sauce that you run through on the coaster. They have approximately 2,227,554 fluid ounces, which is approximately 278,442 servings. 1,000% fun, 500% smiles, 100% happiness, excitement, and memories, 50% fear, no regrets. And then for sugars, it's a short kiss on the cheek from grandmother. And underneath, they even bothered to put a barcode on here. To remove product intact, shake aggressively over a tiny plate while everyone else just watches. That's a really funny detail they put on there. Barcode is 0803-1946, so I'm going to have to look up what happened on August 3rd, 1946. Almost missed outside of the house, the Van Snoodle coat of arms is a pizza, a whisk, a chicken timer, and a gravy boat. Okay, come on. On Saturday, May 31st, they spent about 4 hours filming what I assume is a commercial out near Good Gravy. So if you're in the area close enough to Holiday World to get their commercials, you may see some filming that was done on Saturday, May 31st. If you're going to have an area themed to Thanksgiving, what better place to put your pirate ship and have it themed to the Mayflower? That was a smart call here. Interesting to note that this ride celebrates the 394th anniversary of the Mayflower randomly. Kind of strange. Right next to the Mayflower, they have this fun little photo spot here that's good for you, your kids, or Jen. And here we are at Thunderbird, what was once the only launched wing coaster in America prior to Raptera opening a few weeks ago. Actually, it's still only a few weeks at the time we're recording this. What they don't tell you about Thunderbird is that it's at the top of a hill and you have to really climb up a long and winding path to get to it. So now I'm a little bit tired. kind of hard to believe, but Thunderbird is actually already celebrating its 10th anniversary with the park. Both the staging area for the Thunderbird trains as well as the station itself are both themed to barns, which this may not be quite as fancy as the station for Rapterra at King's Dominion, but they're very committed to the decor here. It really looks like a barn all the way through, so despite not being as detailed, they still did a really awesome job with this station. The lower half of the queue continues the barn theming. They have this cool little covered wagon here. They have horse collars up on the wall. They have the red wood all throughout, including these kerosene-looking lamps up here too. So they really go all in on the theming for this ride. It's really awesome. Out in front of Gobbler Getaway, which is a shooting dark ride, kind of like the Boo Blaster rides at all the Cedar Fair parks, they have this fun little photo op here. You can make yourself look like you're a giant turkey. Or a smaller turkey if you're a child. Aside from the theming, the Gobbler Getaway is almost identical to Boo Blasters, but the queue is kind of cool in that it does have this granny animatronic who teaches you how to use your blaster.
Did I tell you the tale of the great Gobbler Getaway? Well, a good story always goes with the words. And even though my many times...
Though the volume does need to be turned up a bit. And then one more fun little photo spot as you're first entering or exiting the Thanksgiving area. They have this little scarecrow. So what better place to eat in the park than Thanksgiving? And at Thanksgiving we're eating at the Plymouth Rock Cafe. At the Plymouth Rock Cafe you can choose to have a premium meal or an adult meal, which the premium meal includes either a beef brisket or a giant turkey leg and 2 sides. The adult meal, you can choose between 2 or 3 sides. And the adult meal includes your choice of either roasted turkey, pulled pork, or chicken and dumplings. And the sides up here are applesauce, cinnamon apples, green beans, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes and gravy, potato salad, stuffing, sweet corn, or sweet potato casserole. So a great variety of food here. They also have a child meal, which is a child-size entree and 1 side and a roll of cornbread, vegetarian meal, or a turkey bowl. And of course, all of these places include drinks because drinks are free at this point. So for my meal, I got the turkey bowl, which technically doesn't come with any sides, which is why it's cheaper than the other options, but I mean, it sort of does come with sides because it's loaded with corn and gravy, and it's sitting on top of a bed of mashed potatoes, so you technically get all that as sides. And Jen got the turkey and dumplings as her meal, which came with a roll, and she chose as her sides the sweet potato casserole and the stuffing with gravy. For dessert, we opted to get a banana pudding as well. And also, even though I'll reiterate once again that the sodas are free, we opted to buy this refillable drink bottle because how could you not? Check this thing out. It's got the Holiday World 25th anniversary or 25th anniversary of free sodas logo on here, as well as logos for all of their major rides. And of course, they have George the Eagle and and Holidog on here as well. So they have all the best parts of Holiday World in this cup. Everything all together, including the cup, came up to be $52.40. So Jen said that the dumplings were a little bit on the salty side, but the chicken, which I actually said turkey earlier, it's chicken is the protein in this. The chicken was really good. The sweet potatoes had a little bit of a sweet crunch in them that she really liked. The stuffing, she didn't really have much of an opinion on the stuffing. It was just okay, but she liked the gravy a lot. The gravy had a lot of flavor. And she said the cornbread was a little bit on the sweet side, which she liked a lot. All things combined, she actually said that this gets a rare A, which is really impressive. All of the food in the restaurant is sitting out kind of buffet style, except that you don't serve yourself. There are people there to scoop it out and give it to you. So because it was kind of sitting out buffet style, I was expecting the food temperature to be kind of lukewarm, but it's actually piping hot and tastes delicious. I really enjoyed my bowl. The potatoes, I'm very skeptical of theme park potatoes, but these actually tasted like they were made with real potato, which really surprised me. I enjoyed that a lot. The corn is really sweet, gravy, much like Jen was saying, is really flavorful and tasty, and the turkey's super tender. I think I would have to actually also give my food an A as well. On the cranberry jam stage, which is right near the Good Gravy coaster, they have the show Plymouth Rocks with a few show times each day.
Keep it going.
One of the flat rides in the Thanksgiving area is the Turkey Whirl, which is a tilt-a-whirl, except you're riding in giant turkeys. I love the theming on this tilt-a-whirl. When you're standing near the Voyage, you really get a perspective on just how banked some of these turns are. That is completely on your side right here. That's incredible how that feels being like that, going that fast. If you're interested in visiting the Splashin Safari Water Park, one cool feature is that you can enter it by going right underneath of the Voyage. Little tunnel right here. Even though we're not going to be focusing too heavy on Splashin Safari in this video, I did want to show something a little bit fun that's in here. Because it's themed to a safari, as you first enter the water park, you go down this little walkway, has these fun little safari statues that you pass by. You come to this big gorilla over here. And then a little bit beyond the gorilla, there's a family of elephants. And then all the way at the bottom of the walkway, there's this big old rhino. So that's some fun little bit of theming in the area. Just thought I'd highlight that because I thought it was kind of cool. Although there is a theme to the event, we really haven't seen much to the theme while we've been here. But as we're sitting here undercover here charging our phones, they actually are playing some Beetlejuice music to go along with the theme. Later on, we even got to have a trivia contest hosted by Beetlejuice. The top 10 finishers in the trivia each got a $25 Holiday World gift card, and guess which team finished in 6th place? Able to grab that. After the park closed for the day, the events of Holiwood Nights started in Splashin Safari, so we were spending a little bit of brief time in Splashin Safari, but over there at the watering hole, they have a special exclusive Beetlejuice cocktail just for tonight. So Jen got that to try it out. The cocktail is $12.99. It is this bright neon green color.
If you're there first, jump in.
So unfortunately, none of the signage said what exactly was in the Beetlejuice cocktail. But Jen said that she tasted mainly sour apple and maybe a hint of some citrus, possibly lime. Maybe it's just the color that makes it seem like it might be lime, who knows. But she said the alcohol in it tastes like vodka, so it may or may not have vodka in it, but that's what it tastes like. Over by Bahari's Snacks in the water park, there is a walk around Beetlejuice talking to people, and it came out of this wall, which may look familiar to people who are fans of the movie. Day 2 end of night picnic continues the Beetlejuice theming with this awesome inflatable archway, the Beetlejuice light up sign, as well as a sandworm and Beetlejuice himself with a shrunken head on a jack-o'-lantern. And they brought back the brick doorway from Beetlejuice that we saw last night at Splashin Safari. Only now Jen's in front of it. Also, in addition to the giant Beetlejuice colored balloons, a row of eyeballs in the flower bed for some reason. This is the look of two people that just rode the Voyage with no trims to slow us down in the rain. That was quite an experience. Okay, so before we close out, just some real quick thoughts on the coasters here. First, let's start with Good Gravy since it's right behind us. It's just your simple family shuttle coaster, which, for what it is, it's actually really good. It's definitely better in the front row than the back row because you go backwards by going up a spike and back down, and in the front you go all the way up that spike. The back barely goes up the spike at all, so there's definitely a good row and a bad row on that, but overall the coaster is a lot of fun. Next, Raven has a good start to it, but then at one point it goes down a hill that goes into the woods, which visually looks really awesome, but the track in the woods gets really rough and jackhammery, so it's not a very comfortable coaster at that second half. Though the first half does go around a lake, which is really cool looking. It does have some great scenery, so that's the plus side to that coaster. Thunderbird it's similar to Rapterra in that it's a launched wing coaster, but actually I hate to say this because I do love Rapterra, but there is so much more to Thunderbird. It's more intense, it has more fun inversions, it has great theming going through sheds and things. I really enjoy that coaster. We both really enjoyed that coaster, and we actually think it just edges out Rapterra by just a little bit. Sorry to say that, King's Dominion. The Legend is another great wooden coaster. It doesn't get talked about nearly enough. We compare it kind of to Twister at Knoebels. It has a lot of lateral G-forces. It's a little bit longer than Twister, and it has some awesome tunnels, which at nighttime you cannot see a thing in there. It makes it really intense and fun. The Legend might actually be very close in intensity to the Voyage here at the park. And speaking of the Voyage, coming into this park, I have to say that the Beast was actually not only my favorite wooden coaster, but my favorite coaster outside of the state of Florida. Riding the Voyage, drum roll please. The Voyage, I actually think, was on a par with the Beast the first time I rode it in the daytime. But then at Holiwood Nights, riding the Voyage with the trim brakes off, added that extra 10 miles an hour to the ride, and riding in complete darkness back in the wooded area, that just put it over the top. That was an unbelievable, unforgettable experience. So I, unfortunately, sorry to the Beast, but I have to say I think I like the Voyage more now than the Beast. That was an experience I won't forget. That's a great coaster. It actually lives up to the hype. It's really surprising. And I guess I need to mention the Howler as well. The Howler is the kiddie coaster here. It's a really simple ride, not super intense. I mean, it is what it is. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, but it's here, it's fun. If you're counting coaster credits like coaster nerds like we are, then it's worth a ride just to get the credit. But also if you're a kid, kids would definitely enjoy it. You can probably tell it's a hot one out here tonight. But thoughts on Holiday World? It was one of our bucket list parks, so we were super excited to finally get the opportunity to come here, and it actually lived up to all of the expectations, all of the hype. We had an excellent time here. It was even exceeded some of our expectations in some places. We definitely recommend a visit if you haven't had a chance to visit yet. Great rides, great food. I really don't have much of a complaint. Even during a Saturday in the middle of the day, the lines were pretty short, so you can pretty much ride whatever you want here. And then Holiwood Nights in particular, that is definitely an experience that you would want to try. I need to let you know, for Holiwood Nights, if you're interested in attending it, you need to be a member of a coaster club. We are members of American Coaster Enthusiasts, but they recognize a number of coaster clubs, probably about a dozen of them. So if you're a member of any one of their recognized coaster clubs, which you can find the list on their website, you can attend this event. Also, I should warn you that tickets to the event are very limited, and this year's event sold out in literally about a minute. So they will announce around late November, early December that the tickets are going on sale, and you have to be ready on the day and time that they're going on sale if you want a shot at getting the tickets, since they sell out so quickly. Also, one last thing, they are pretty expensive. I think this year's tickets were about $150 a piece, but they treat you so well at this event. It is worth the money in our opinion. We showed you in this video basically the things that we bought at the event and also the scenery, but we didn't really show you the stuff that they gave us for free, and that comprised of having the opportunity to ride coasters and a few other rides without any lines, or very little lines I should say. And also, yeah, they gave us pins as we were leaving the park. They give you a special pin every year. And most importantly, they feed you really well. Free food, several different occasions during the event on both days. So I believe that more than makes up for the cost, everything that they give you for this. So we highly recommend the event if you fit the criteria or are willing to spend the money. Overall, we had, again, an excellent time. We strongly recommend giving this park a visit when you have time, if you have the opportunity. So we really hope you enjoyed our look at the holiday world. If you did, we would appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Every like and subscribe is a big help to the channel. Also, please be sure to check out our Instagram page, which is appearing right over Jen's head right now. Right below that is our Threads handle. And then right, actually above Jen for some reason this time, is our email address. Please be sure to email us any questions, comments, concerns, constructive criticism. We read all of them, and we appreciate any feedback that you give. So, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for watching, but the fun's not over yet. Click the box in front of my face for another fun video, or click my tree to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss another video.